Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about 3%, Season 2, Episode 3. It's called Chapter 3, Static. Took me a second. Had it in my head. It's fine. I got it out.
You got episode, chapter, and then panicked.
Well, in my defence, it's in Portuguese, so I have to remember these titles from the episode.
Oh, okay.
It says Estatica, which admittedly that one's a bit more obvious than normal, but still.
I didn't realise they were. I just assumed that Netflix put them in English because the title card comes up in English. So.
No, IMDb.
Oh, okay. Sure, I just looked on Netflix.
But I look at IMDb for everything. I'm not changing my system just for Netflix shows.
Yeah, it's like half our content.
Look, episode 3, and we kind of arguably it's more of a Fernando focused episode, which I think narratively makes a lot of sense given that episode 2 ended with kind of him
being drawn into everything.
Yeah, him becoming part of the Joanna plot. So it made sense to then sort of like steamroll that into more of his plot. So we get a lot of flashback with him and Gloria. He's having nightmares about Gloria dying at the process. And this episode is actually kind of all a big... It's kind of like all the untangled wires getting more tangled. So at the end of the episode, we actually end with our 4 main characters from Season 1 all in the same room.
Yeah.
Which was quite exciting. That's kind of how we leave off for next time. And who can trust who, who's up to what. Bunch of different things going on. So Fernando's main thing with Gloria is that Gloria is going out to... It's the registration. 5 days. It's her birthday as well. It's 5 days till the thing. He's made her he's fixed like a walkie-talkie, like a makeshift walkie-talkie system that he's got with her, and it's all nice. And obviously he cares about her. That was clear before, but again, it's like kind of going back to this, the idea that we see that after he came back from the process, he spoke out against the process, and spoke of how it wasn't real and how it was to manipulate them, and some people didn't like him saying that, and basically jumped him in the street.
And kicked the shit out of him.
And it's Gloria who runs in and stops him from doing it. It's Gloria who kind of protects him. You get the indication that growing up, she was a big part of what kind of helped him get through things. She was there for him maybe when his father wasn't. And so you get all that stuff, and they go into the process. And he, of course, knows about this bomb. He wants to warn her. He wants to challenge this. And it's funny because they get to the little... the little trailer that they're doing these tests in, and it's Eliza who's there doing them, and she scans her tag in the behind her ear, and it comes up, oh, this is not reading the data. Something's wrong. Give me a second, I will fix this. And Gloria starts to get all panicky, and I immediately went, wait a minute. It's almost like Fernando was anticipating this and hoping for it.
Yeah, he rolls up and goes, "Oh, so she won't be able to take the process." Yeah.
I'm
pretty sure he had something to do with this.
It's almost as if the walkie-talkie he gave her maybe did something signal-wise to the device.
Who'd have thunk?
Interesting. But she just comes out and replaces it and transfers the data. She's fine. Eliza knows what she's doing. It's all good.
Just basically, I think just like a little test on I think it's like a little DNA test, because they do take a sample and she incinerates it after.
Yeah. So he's like, damn. Okay, that's that plan thwarted. So on the way back, he's basically like, and she's talking about how excited she is, how like, at one point she notices he looks upset, and she's, oh, Fernando, don't worry, I'll miss you too. And she thinks that's all it is, and then eventually he just flat out says, okay, I need you to promise me something. I need you to promise not to do the process. And I'm like, Fernando, this is like her entire life is revolving around looking forward to this right now. That's all we've heard her talk about or be excited about at all in every single scene she's been in.
She's not going to agree to this.
This is not going to go down well. And he tries to explain. She thinks he's working with the cause. He says he's not, which is mostly true.
I mean, it is true at this point.
Yeah. And she gets kind of angry at him. They have a bit of a fight. And he actually, I do like that he tries to bring up, because she's like, oh, you're going to turn your back on the church, you're going to turn your back on your father. And he actually tries to bring up, like, no, like, they're not what helped me. You helped me.
Oh, exactly.
You did this. You got me through childhood. You got me to where I am now.
Yeah,
not them.
Dad don't give a shit.
Yeah, so that was, I thought that was a really interesting thing, and it was almost like, how does she respond to that? She's getting all the credit when she's putting all of her faith into the church, into the process, into all these beliefs. And he's saying, no, none of that help me. You help me. I thought it was a fascinating little exchange of dialogue. I was really into that. And of course, later on, Joanna comes by to see him. And Gloria ends up following them. So she ends up seeing them later on, recognizes the murderer because she's got wanted posters up all over the city. And he's like, oh, you are working with the cause. Tell me it's not true. He's like, no, it's not what it looks like. It's not quite that. And he's right. It's still not quite that, even though he is kind of helping Joanna.
He is, in a roundabout way, helping the cause, but not doing exactly what they want.
He's helping them only in the sense that he wants to stop them from doing the actual extreme thing.
Yeah.
So... And she kind of gives him an ultimatum, like, hey, if this is for me, like, come with me, like, turn your back on Joanna, come with me. And he's like, you'll never understand this, but I am doing this for you. And we know he is, because he's trying to stop the bomb from happening. He's legitimately trying to save her. So it's this kind of heartbreaking scene, and she drops the radio, and that's it's like a real heartbreaking thing. I thought all of Fernando's stuff worked really well. Obviously, when we get to Michelle, we'll talk about that. I think we need to jump around to the other plots before we talk about the ending.
We do. It's as much as it's the Fernando episode, it's a little bit more scattershot because we do have all the other threads going on a bit more than we have in the previous two, whereas it's been more focused than this.
Yeah. This is actually very focused in the sense that it is all building to the one thing. Like, everything is actually building up to the same point.
Focused in one character's thread.
So, jumping over to Joanna, because Joanna, of course, and we mentioned her showing up and wanting help. So not only is Fernando figured out his little trick, he's got a way to sort of possibly erase all the data. Because he hears Eliza say it. He hears her say, oh, we'd be screwed if all of this data for the process went away.
She really shouldn't be so flippant around all these, civilians.
And so he does some tests about trying to block the data, and he thinks he's onto something. And Joanna's like, oh, that sounds great, but there's something else. Can you fix this? And it's a tape recorder, because Michelle, now that she's at the process building, she's sending out signals, and it's basically just a list of names. Of course, one is Fernando, but the others aren't necessarily names that we recognise.
Yeah.
And she's saying these names out. It turns out it's code. It's coordinates for where to meet her later. She's trying to send this to the cause. And what's interesting is that Raphael, who's trying to keep an eye on her, comes out, and it's a nice little callback to last episode because he get caught with the radio. Yeah. So he comes out, like, who are you talking to? And she's just, oh, no one. I'm just out here myself.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm. So, no, I thought that was a nice little callback to last episode. So you have Raphael basically making another soldier sick so he can take the post out next to Eliza, because that's in the city, in the inland. And he is doing that because he wants to be able to go and circumvent,
do a bit of snooping.
Yeah, because he sees Michelle. He thinks he sees Michelle. He's like, all right, I'm going for a piss. Cover for me as I go piss. And I like that he realizes before he's about to go do something really shady. He's like, oh wait, there's a camera on my head.
Yeah.
So because actually the episode even plays with it as if he's getting attacked, because you just see the camera getting bashed into the wall, and it looks like his head's getting bashed into the wall. But when we cut back to him, he's actually just ramming his own head against the wall to break the camera. So he sneaks off, and he ends up, he's following Michelle, and he ends up in the same place. Obviously, Fernando goes to the coordinates, he sees Michelle, and it's a bit of a touching moment because they, of course, had so much of a connection in season 1 that as soon as they see each other, there's this, this moment, and they're looking at each other, and they even say, oh, I never thought I'd see you again. And it's kind of this weird mix of sweet combined with...
What are you doing here?
Well, what are you doing here? But also, I think there is like an underlining of anger, because he quit and she went through, and there's this like I feel like there's more to it than that. There's a real mix of emotions when those two meet, and of course they start getting shot at because Silas has been following the radio signal and wants to take out. He says, this is funny. Silas assumes that whoever's the infiltrators are have turned on them because they've not heard anything in a year, but we actually know that the offshore actually block any communications from going out.
Yeah, it's a real conundrum for him, isn't it?
Because the funny thing here about this is that we know Raphael, at least seemingly to us, has not flipped. He actually is still part of the cause. He wants to help the cause. Yeah. But everyone's assuming that he's flipped because he's not said anything in a year. But we know that he tried to.
Yeah, repeatedly.
But, so the funny thing is him proving like why he's not contacted them, all gives Michelle an alibi at the same time. It's actually kind of this weird like double thing. So he busts into the room, and Joanna's in the room, and everyone's there. It's like the four main characters. We end, and everyone's got the guns up, and it's it's this big thing, and also
Mexican standoff.
Also the cause lady, the blondie, she's there as well.
She's Raphael's contact.
Yeah, and she also warned, of course, Joanna that Silas was going to, because she was like, no, Fernando, get out of there now. Everything all comes together and all kind of clashes in this final scene. And it's exciting because we've not seen them together, but I mean, what have we seen? We've seen Michelle and Raphael have a couple of scenes together.
Yeah, and then Fernando and Joanna.
Yeah, but there's been no overlap in any other way. So having them all show up together like this, and it's a nice sort of big reunion moment. And it's the end of episode 3. It's kind of like the end of the first act, if you will. We've been kind of building up to this all the 3 episodes, and now we're here. So I think that's pretty cool. So I think what's interesting here now, I want to talk about the timeline, because the episode starts with 5 days until the process.
Yes. And
I'm really starting to wonder how the timeline's going to play out over the course of the season now.
I think it's interesting. Up till this point, we've gone a day per episode.
Actually, even less than that.
Is it?
Yeah, because episode 1 was on 6 days till somewhere in the middle of that episode.
I thought it was 7, then 6.
I don't think so. I remember it switching to 6 in the first episode. I mean, maybe I'm misremembering this, but I remembered thinking at the start of episode 2, we're still on day 6.
Fair enough. Okay, maybe I'm misremembering. I remember episode 2 being day 6.
Yeah, because my first thought when I saw that was, we're still on day 6. This one starts on day 5, obviously. Which, I mean, if we actually go one per episode now, we're going to have another 4 episodes, and then the process will start.
Yeah.
So we'll only have 3 episodes once the process has started. But given the way it's pacing and given the way it's building up to try to prevent this attack, and
I wouldn't be too surprised if we don't actually get the process itself. If the attack, etc., is the last episode almost. If
the attack actually happens, then the process isn't happening. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
But
it will be like the last episode will be, will the attack happen or will they stop it? Like that, I can see that as the end of season episode.
Potential. I feel like I don't know if there's enough there for another.
I don't know either. I think we'll have to see what they do.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be more wrenches into the mix before we see.
Yeah, it just that feels like a premise for an episode to end on, right?
It does, and yeah, my only reason why I dispute that that's how the season's going to end is that it feels such a long way from now that I'm not sure what we fill the next 6 episodes with before that last one.
No, that's true.
But I guess we'll see, because obviously we're getting to know Gloria quite a lot. But I noticed in this one, her face is in the opening credits. It's like digitally going through and all the faces in the opening titles.
Yeah.
Her face is in there now, so she's definitely part of the. She's one of the main cast now.
One of the things that we will get for one of these, so the cause now have a mission, right? Instead of the bomb, you need to wipe this data.
Yeah.
So that's like a full episode there, in theory, them trying to wipe the data.
Well, presumably they have to wait until the process starts so they can go in.
No, okay.
Assuming they play it out like they were going to do the bomb, because they actually pick someone out of a hat this episode.
They did,
and she's all, for this cause, my sister killed herself because she felt like a failure because of what they did to her. And, so there was that stuff there. Obviously, of course, Michelle sees the old man who's in a cage right now in the process building, and he's like, oh yeah, I know I shouldn't have told you that your brother was killed, but I needed to light that fire, but I do apologize. Do you forgive me? I forgive you for being a traitor. And Ezekiel is just kind of like, oh, you can tell him whatever you want, you can say whatever you want, you get anything off your chest. And she just doesn't say anything. She doesn't want to say anything. She just wants to leave.
Yeah.
So you can read into that how you want, but going back to Ezekiel grooming her to be the new Ezekiel, we have the water. We have the head in the water, because we saw that a lot with him in season 1.
He did do it constantly.
Yeah, Julia showed him that, and his wife, and so we see that she's doing the same thing here. Actually, maybe this is like not a complaint about the show, but just a complaint about Michelle in this scene. If you're going to stick your head in the water, take off those big giant ass earrings before you do
it. Yeah. Also, this reminds me, we definitely didn't need that scene with our last episode.
Oh, sure.
That feels
yeah.
super irrelevant.
No, yeah, I'm with you in that. Again, the scene itself wasn't bad. It's just
It just kind of does nothing. It didn't do anything in that episode. It doesn't contribute anything to the story in this episode. I'm not really sure why it exists.
well, no, I think it would have worked in this one because I think it's just the moment of being there for the first time and like recognizing the
No,
surroundings.
that's fair.
You know, it's the coming here and the impact of the memories as she's stepping foot into this place. Where you know the entire season one was this big ordeal and this big turmoil for her to go through. So I get the purpose of it on its own.
The only logic I can think of is they really wanted to establish the timeline, as in they were there a day earlier.
Yeah.
So if that comes up and something they did something in that day,
Yeah.
then fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, it's like 24, but with days.
Sure, why not?
It's not really. I'll be highly surprised if the next episode actually jumps to day 4. Because I imagine we're going to have to pick up right where we leave off.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to pick up with this.
Yeah.
But we could cut into day 4 at some point.
Yeah, we could. So no, that was the main stuff in the episode. I think it's interesting seeing the characters back out in the wild, if you will. Michelle, sneaking around down there. Raphael sneaking around. In fact, actually, that's one of the big things is at the end, because obviously Ezekiel has her like chip to like broadcast, so he can talk to her, and he's hearing everything she's hearing, and he's got his like voice recognition, and it's like, okay, so this person's talking to, it's Fernando. He was a process failure. He quit out, and then Raphael comes in and starts talking, and it comes up offshore resident, and his face is like, what?
Yeah, it's like, he's been made.
Oh, there's 2 of them. There was 2 double agents last year. Damn it.
Yeah.
On
He's
my
going to be like,
watch.
damn it, I can't believe I missed it.
Yeah. He might take that personally. Actually, he might actually really, because he spotted Michelle. He fished her out. He's been controlling her. He's grooming her. And...
Do you know what I think's going to be more interesting?
Oh yes.
Because obviously he's going to know that Michelle knew the whole time and never gave him up. As much as she, they think that she's been, rehabilitated, so and is on their side now. She never betrayed his trust. She never said, "Oh, by the way, he's a cause agent."
Yeah, no, she never did, and it'll be interesting to see when the episode starts next time if they start speaking. If Michelle just immediately goes, like, stop talking, like,
yeah,
they're listening, stop it. I'd be curious to see how that plays out. And it's funny because even though they were not always necessarily aligned, this does kind of feel like the team of season 1. They were a team functioning together for a lot of season 1, and obviously Joanna was very kind of lone wolf in the way she was acting. But it's interesting to have them back. She was there.
It counts.
Yeah, and like what will Raphael think when he hears about this plan? Will he be okay with everyone being blown up, or will he be on Joanna's side and Fernando's side where he sees no, a better option has to be picked? Like we can't just be killing people.
I'm excited for this confrontation because it means we might finally get some the ideological debating going on between them.
Do you know what? It wouldn't be. I don't think it will be, but it honestly wouldn't surprise me if next episode is just all of them in that room.
I would be down for that.
Just 45 minutes of them debating. Just
I have missed having them in a room for 40 minutes.
Yeah, I can definitely see it because this one, of course, we had the figuring out of a couple of things, but there wasn't as heavy like this is kind of like a game from season 1. There was not a lot of that this episode.
No, there wasn't. This one kind of shied away from it a little.
But I guess that's because you can't necessarily force it in when you don't have that actual plot structure that you're working through.
No, agreed. I'd much rather them go, do you know what? We'd be doing it just for the sake of the gimmick here.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it. I'd much rather them make this choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it means next episode, if them standing around having this debate is even like a 10-minute long scene, which is a quarter of the episode, it will feel like it's really built up to it, and it's like, okay, right, our main character is going to debate the morals of this. And no, so I think it's going to be interesting. But I'm actually this was a really exciting episode because as you realise that because I think there's a point where once Michelle and Fernando have met, and then Raphael's looking for Michelle.
Yeah, he's on the trail. You're like, I see where this is going.
Yeah, they're all going to be in the room at the end. They're all going to be looking at each other, and it's like. Raphael comes out, he's like, I can't trust her, she's turned sides. And then, no, you can't trust him because he's like, and everyone's just pointing guns at each other. It's good stuff.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun, and then of course, as you say, the ideological debates seem like they're being prepped. It seems like they're cooking, and we're about
well, I
to
mean
hit them.
that's it, because we had a lot of small ones last season that they treated very seriously, but smaller issues.
Yeah.
And there was some big ones as well. Don't get me wrong, just the whole inland versus offshore. But here we've got the bomb, innocents. People will die, but do we do it anyway? Like greater good, and that's a huge debate for them to have. And I feel like as much as we've had the bomb kind of brought up here or there, no one's really had that debate yet. Joanna's poked at it.
And I feel like you've got this really weird mix of like stances just between the four of them, because you've got Michelle, who is kind of turned to the offshore side, but it kind of feels almost like by default. It's not that she really actually is that passionate about the offshore. Doesn't seem that way anyway.
No.
It's more like, Ezekiel's pushing her into it, so she's kind of just, okay, sure, I'll do
it's like, well, my brother's there.
And yeah, of course, she is doing this specifically, this trying to, infiltrate because she wants her brother released. So she's doing that. Fernando doesn't want to be a part of the cause, he doesn't want to be in the offshore, and he thinks the bombing is wrong. So he's in there. Joanna doesn't want to be part of the cause, but also thinks the bombing is wrong, which is why it would be really interesting if Raphael does think the bombing's a good idea, if he represents that side of it.
Yeah, I think one of them has to for this to be, fair.
Yeah, unless, that's what unites them all, that's what makes them a team again, is that they all agree now that the bomb's too far. Regardless of where we stand, that's what will bring them together to work together to stop it.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see that maybe being where it goes. So no, especially since Raphael at the very least won't want his girlfriend to die.
No, he won't.
Because that's his big conflicting thing, right? Is that he's still the cause, but now he's got a loved one.
Yeah, absolutely, and he'll be on duty. So is he willing to sacrifice himself as well?
Oh sure, yeah. If we go down the selfish route, I feel like.
Well, I just said it because he's not had to put himself on the line in the same way. Not like, okay, I'm going to die if we do this. He hasn't had to martyr himself in the same way that the girl who has to carry the bomb in does. Yeah,
so I'm not sure where he'll fall on that. But like I say, even if it depends what his argument is. I can see another character accusing him of just wanting to save his own skin.
Yeah.
But maybe it's really because Elijah's there, or maybe it's because he just agrees that killing people's too far, or whatever.
Oh, it's but hopefully we get this debate.
So again, you got the ideological debate being prepped. So. It's exciting stuff. So that's 3%, episode 3 of season 2. So by all means, let us know what you thought of this one in the comments. Next episode, if I get my schedule up, I'll actually be a bit more specific and tell you when the next one's coming. We're juggling 3 Netflix shows at the moment, so all 3 of them are moving a little bit slower than we typically get through them. But we can tell you that the next one has been recorded on Tuesday, and you'll likely get it late Tuesday, early Wednesday. So that's when you can expect the next one. So thank you very much for watching or listening. Check us out on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. Go over there if you want to support us. If you also just want to check out a bunch of the links to the other audio feeds and video playlists and stuff, there's a nice handy list there. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?